Welcome to another edition of All or Not According to Jack with your host, Jack Toledano. Uh, and lately, I've been a little late to the game with some of these little internet games as far as, uh, concerts that I've seen and concerts that I didn't go to and, talking about the different genres of music while it's being talked about on other channels. So I thought, maybe I would be one of the first to do this particular aspect on the show. So uh, I'm over the last few days, I was upstate, at the second home. Anytime I had some downtime, go on the iPhone and play around and look at Facebook and so on and so forth. And I saw this thing where all these friends of mine on Facebook were coming up with these festivals that of bands that they liked, and I'm like, why can't I do that? So I looked into it a little, and basically somebody was lying in bed one day and he's thinking, the light bulb went off and he said, why can't I do something like that for all of these people? So he created what's called an InstaFest app that can be plugged into your Spotify, and it can look at music that you've listened to for all time, or the last 6 months, or the last 4 months, and blah blah blah. So me, like a dope, I did it, and I put up my 6 month view on Facebook. But really, what I wanted to do, I wanted to put my all time view up. But so instead, everybody gets to visit this imaginary festival, in my head festival of all the bands that I like and all the bands that I've listened to on a day-to-day basis on Spotify ever since I signed up about, I don't know, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe. So let's go to the PowerPoint, and let's bring up my festival. So let's share. And there we have it. Okay, so you're looking at it. Uh, I'm calling this and again, I don't have 79,000 subscribers like Mr. Pardo does, so I can't put together a real fest. So let's let's pretend uh, what an all or not according to Jack festival would look like. So the all or nada in InstaFest, or all or nada according to Jack Fest. I prefer to call it that, for lack of a better term. So let's go to day one. And basically, what it's going to be is it's going to be a 3 day festival with headliners. I don't think there's going to be any surprises to who my headliners are. But then we'll start with some of the undercard first, as it were. So let's go to day one. Day one. Okay, so first tier of bands to play, the wonderful Uriah Heep, a band that is definitely rising in, on my like list. I actually put a video of theirs up on Facebook just tonight. The song "Look at Yourself" from 1973, wonderfully done. Who knew that I could find an actual video of them from 1973 with David Byron jumping all over the stage and singing "Look at Yourself." Definitely the Beach Boys of hard rock. Gotta love them. Next, Chicago. They used to be, many years ago, they used to be in my top tier of bands, but as it happens, you know what? They kind of wimped out after Terry Kath passed away, sadly. Uh, He a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but by that time, I think the band was ruined. They were too dependent on pop hits and pop ballads by Mr. Cetera, uh, and just were not the same ballsy band from the first three albums. But gotta love those early years of Chicago. I did get to see them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2006. That was a thrill of a lifetime. One time, Susan and I did a poor man's concert where we took our beach chairs and our Subway sandwiches and sat outside Jones Beach Theater and watched them, or rather, listened to them and the Doobie Brothers perform for free. But it was cool. Next up, another band that's really rising in my bands that I like, a band called UFO. Oh, hard rock, early to mid 70s hard rock at its finest. Lights Out London, Doctor Doctor. Doesn't get any better than that. Rock Bottom, not to be confused with the Kiss song Rock Bottom. Great, great band. Love the swirling keyboards, and check them out if you haven't. Next, probably the only I would probably say the only power pop band in my festival, the Cars. When I first heard them the first time, I think it was 78 or 79, I didn't know what to make of them, but let me tell you, good shit, man. Really good. Uh, you know, just what I needed. Uh, Best Friend's Girl, Bye Bye Love, uh, Let's Go, uh, so on and so forth. I have a top 15 Cars best of songs, so check it out if you can. Next up, Motorhead. I did get to see them once when Mr. Lemmy Kilmister was still alive. Uh, Funny guys. I once heard a rumor that somebody went to see them and Lemmy, in that very gravelly voice, what song do you want to hear? Everybody's chanting, Ace of Spades. We're not going to play that fucking song tonight. A lot of random boos, but then they did play them. Good stuff. Uh, Born to Raise Hell. Love that song. Hellraiser, a song that he co-wrote with Ozzy. Of course, I liked his version better. Uh, uh, Overkill. Orgasmatron. I am the one. Orgasmatron. Gotta love Motorhead. Dream Theater. Probably one of the best, to me, one of the best prog metal bands out there. I did get to see them on a few occasions. Uh, Surprisingly, I did see them once in a special evening with Dream Theater at Beacon Theater. They actually covered the whole Master of Puppets album by Metallica in its entirety. Wow, good stuff. But instrumentally, they are the bomb. Check them out. White Snake. What can I say about Mr. David Coverdale? Amazing, amazing vocalist. Going back to his Deep Purple days, but you know, came out with it. First time I ever heard him was the album Slide It In. Uh, Imagine hard rock talking about sex, but their songs are the shit. Slow and Easy, Slide It In, uh, Guilty of Love, uh, Here I Go, Here I Go Again on My Own. Check them out. And of course, AC/DC. I mentioned before, you know what you're getting from these guys. As Ted Nugent would say, we don't play no sweet shit. Gotta love them. They speak for themselves. I don't think I have to talk about their what their music, but I love the song. Oh, what's that song? Touch Too Much, Highway to Hell. Uh, uh, oh man, the song is at the top of my head. I can't think of it. You you wanna rock and roll? Oh, that's it. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. That's the benefit of a live video. Spontaneity. Sometimes you forget. Okay, so to the undercard of the first night, Iron freaking Maiden, Number of the Beast, uh, Power Slave, uh, great albums. They are among the best. They are a band that, god damn it, another band that's got to get into the freaking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The hell are you waiting for? What's that guy's name? Whatever, who cares? Not worth remembering. Uh, Primal Fear, band that first time I heard them, they sounded a lot like Priest, but after about 4 or 5 albums, they started to carve their own identity. Uh, Amazing, amazing band. I got to see them one time. Awesome. Uh, Chainbreaker, Eye of an Eagle, uh, Strike and Take No Prisoners. What's that album called? I can't think of the name of it, but whatever. Check them out. Great band. Of course, you know these guys very well. Led Zeppelin. Uh, it's a band that I probably had a bit of a love-hate relationship. I was jealous of all the people that were fans of Led Zeppelin, while nobody liked my headliner for tonight, Kiss. But fortunately, I didn't start to begin to like Led Zeppelin because somebody told me I had to like them. Of course, I started to like them on my own terms, but great band, hard rock, folk at its finest. I don't think I have to talk about their music. You check them out. You know it. You know what their music is. And of course, the headliner for night one. You wanted the best and you got it. The hottest band in the world. Kiss. Yes, Kiss. Some people call them the clowns of rock and roll, but to me, you know, you can't look at their makeup when you're listening to their records. And you know what? Their first 4 or 5 albums had me really pumped. Really good, simple, hard rock. Gotta love it. Day two, little surprise there. So yeah, the undercard. You got Billy Joel, my fellow Long Islander. Love him, the best. Uh, he's a guy who's sold out about 90 shows at Madison Square Garden. They talk about residencies in Las Vegas. He is the one guy who's had the longest residency in New York City. Uh, my brother Andrew and I, and both our families went to see Billy Joel summer of a few years back, and it was amazing how, you know, and this was summer, how many tourists were at this show. And this guy, you know, he can basically continually sell out on Madison Square Garden for another 10 years because he eats, sleeps, and dreams, uh, I'm in a New York state of mind. He eats, sleeps, and dreams New York State, and people come here and they go see him. It's really still a very hot ticket. Deep Purple, another band that I saw get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. Gotta love them. Uh, Smoke on, the first time I heard them, I'm like, this song, all they know them for is Smoke on the Water. Then I heard the other songs on Machine Head, Lazy, Space Truckin', Highway Star. Uh, then songs on Who Do We Think We Are, Rat Bat Blue, uh, My Woman from Tokyo, and the album Burn with the previously mentioned David Coverdale on vocals and Glenn Hughes. Love them. Black Sabbath. Uh, of course, I like the Ronnie James Dio Black Sabbath a little better, but as you may have seen a couple of weeks back, I did put up my top 15 Black Sabbath, and you know what? Staying true to the core of what they do. Most of my top 15 were, in fact, Ozzy songs. I mentioned earlier, well, Ian Gillan from Deep Purple had a stint with Sabbath, as did Glenn Hughes, but wasn't the same. I stick to the Ozzy and Dio Black Sabbath. Only time I saw them, uh, quote unquote Black Sabbath, I saw them in their incarnation, and what's their name? Uh, Heaven and Hell, they were calling themselves at that time when they got back together with Dio. But thankfully, I did get to see them the one time. Next, Leonard Skinner, probably my favorite Southern rock band. I do like others, but gotta love these guys. A friend of my wife said, "Oh, I didn't know Jack liked Leonard Skinner." Hell, yes, I do. Uh, you know what? Can't listen to Deep Purple, Priest, except you know, Manowar, the heavy metal all the time. And these guys, you know, with their three guitar attack, gotta love them. Whiskey Rockarola. Uh, what's the song? What's the other? Sweet Home Alabama, of course. Uh, Ballad of Curtis Lowe. Among so many great songs. Love them. Damn shame when we lost him to that plane crash, but years later, Ronnie's younger brother Johnny Van Zandt brought them back, enabling me to see them. And let me tell you, when I actually saw the one time I saw them was at what the hell's that? Bethel Woods, upstate New York. And let me tell you, when they went and launched into that solo at the end of Freebird, I swear, literally, my spine was tingling. It was like, oh my God, it was like, how are you going to say? It was a bucket list moment for me to see these guys jamming out at the end of Freebird. Oh, amazing, amazing. Manowar, a band that I've gotten into probably in the last 5-10 years. Sword and sorcery metal at its, or fantasy metal at its best. Some how would you say, some, not Nordic, but what's the term? Norse mythology. They tap into that a lot. Uh, Great band. The freaking Rolling Stones. Of course, I like the early Rolling Stones with when Brian Jones was still in the band. Early 70s with Mick Taylor was still really good. Sabotage. I had the pleasure of seeing them one time in Hartford, Connecticut, I believe, during what the Wake of Magellan tour it was. But great band. Another prog metal band. Eagles, saw them at Bethel Woods. Fortunately, I saw them when, what the heck's his name? Glenn Fry was still alive. Another bucket list moment. Okay, then getting to the undercard of day two, Accept. I fell in love with these guys when I heard the album Blood of the Nation for the first time. Then I listened to their back catalog, fell in love with all of their Udo material. I had basically 4 or 5 bucket list moments. Saw these guys about 4 or 5 times and never disappointed me. Love these guys. I also saw Udo solo. in an accept only material concert, and I got to meet and greet with them for under $100. Can't beat that. Rush. I only saw Rush once. Uh, the best $110 I ever spent to see them with actually one of my coworkers at the time, but uh, well, this coworker of mine was a recreational drummer, fell in love with Neil Peart's drumming, so we went and saw them. Really good, really really good. They played Moving Pictures in its entirety, in the I guess in the second set, but well, 2.5, 3 hours, Rush by themselves, no opening band. Oh, they were so freaking good. Symphony X, another band that had about 5, 6 bucket list moments. These guys, to me, are the quintessential prog metal band. You got to check them out. They've had phases of leaning more towards softer prog rock, but then by the time they got to the album Odyssey and Iconoclast, they were balls to the wall heavier, still with those sinister keyboards of Michael Piniella. Of course, guitarist Michael Romeo. To me, he does not take a backseat to what the hell's his name? Oh shit! What's that lead guitarist? I don't know. Pete Porter knows them, but oh, Yngwie Malmsteen. That's it. He does not take a backseat to Yngwie Malmsteen, as far as I'm concerned. Check him out if you haven't. Of course, the headliner of day two, Judas fucking Priest. What more can I say? I've now seen them in even 10 times. Saw them back on October 15th at MVP Arena in Albany. Again, very powerful, nice and loud performance. Sounded great. Never sounded better when I saw them play Genocide, even with Richie Faulkner on the guitar, taking over for KK Downing and Glenn Tipton. They're no longer with Priest, but doesn't matter. Still sounded great to me. So, day three. I don't think there's any surprise who my headliner is on day three. Jethro Tull. But before we get to Jethro Tull, anyway, so let's see. There were on night three. I know Mr. Pardo and the Hudson Valley Squares played this game. What band haven't I seen? So take a good look at the screen. What bands? There are 3 bands that I haven't seen here. Can you name them? One I was supposed to see, but I arrived late to the concert and they had already played, so I missed them. But see if you can guess in the comments on night 3, which bands have I not seen? 3 of them. Okay, so tier 3 of night 3, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Great freaking band. What can I say but Tarkus, Hoedown, Trilogy, Knife Edge. They're just, you know what? Keith Emerson with that amazing, amazing keyboards and synthesizers. Greg Lake, great voice. Bass and guitar. Carl Palmer, the rival of Neil Peart as far as the drums. Amazing. Steely Dan, probably the only band in my fest that has elements of jazz. Great band. Hey 19, that's Aretha Franklin. Peg, Asia. What's the other one? Deacon Blues. Love them. Iced Earth. Uh, they helped rejuvenate my love of heavy metal. Something Wicked This Way comes, the trilogy, My Own Savior, uh, Pure Evil, uh, Angel's Holocaust, and then of course there's Megadeth. So kind of a, I didn't like them in the beginning, but they grew on me as I started to listen to them on channel 38 of Sirius XM radio. Uh, Symphony of Destruction. What can I say? What an amazing freaking tune. Uh, what's the other one? Uh, I can't think of the name of the song, but it's got George Bush's voice. Read my lips, no more taxes. But that song will come to me. Early Metallica. What can I say? Uh, Sadly, uh, now if I had a real festival and they arrived, I would make a rule. You guys, you guys play anything after the Black Album, I am cutting the freaking power off on you. But the early stuff in the 80s, I mean, Master of Puppets, uh, Ride the Lightning, and Justice for All, amazing. Yes, when I think of the great prog rock bands, Yes is it. What more can I say about, don't even have to mention them, their music. Uh, Van Halen, they were it. So my middle school days, Led Zeppelin was the it band. When I got to high school, Van Halen took over as the it band. Uh, Pretty much all of their albums with David Lee Roth, amazing, amazing shit. Uh, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, even Van Halen 3. Everybody wants some. And then this is home, this is Mean Street. Yeah, eventually I'll have to do an episode of purely Van Halen, but kind of tough to do when you have two different phases of the band. And while I like Sammy Hagar, I didn't think he was a good fit for the band. So that's one of the main reasons that I haven't done an episode of Van Halen yet. Moving along, another favorite, more of a bluesy Southern rock band, ZZ Top. Waiting for the Bus, Jesus Just Left Chicago. Good shit, man. Doesn't get any better than that album. Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, the album I'm referring to, Tres Hombres. Uh, okay, so the undercard, Hammerfall, Sweden's best in my opinion. Uh, Imagine ABBA came from the same country. Fuck ABBA. I love these guys. Hammerfall, another sword and sorcery type metal, but more of a driving. I mean, if I had to choose between Hammerfall and what the hell's their name? Uh, Jesus, Manowar. That it is. I would choose Hammerfall. They're just great elements of Priest and Maiden and Manowar, but amazing vocals by Joaquin Cans, and just very easy listening metal, and just gives you a jolt of positivity. What's not to love? And of course, as I was telling one of my uncles, this is probably my favorite band from the British invasion, The Who. What's not to love? Pete Townsend, amazing songwriter. Roger Daltrey, great vocals. Thundering bass of John Entwistle. And of course, oh, hiccups. Where the hell's that coming from? Of course, there's Keith Moon on the drums. Sad day when we lost him. I love 515. Love the album Quadrophenia. Who's Next? My wife loves the album Tommy. I like it as well. Metal Church. That's a band that I've recently gotten into. Uh, I'm thinking the reason why they rated so high was because back when I had an assignment with Pete to do top songs of Metal Church. I had to do a lot of listening. So, but fell in love with the band. So I made my own playlist, and I still listen to them. Of course, there's Jethro Tull, our headliner for night 3. What can I say about Jethro Tull? I mean, yeah, I think you saw my top albums with Aaron Kupferberg, uh, author of the Power Pop book, also a friend of mine from my Oddfellow Lodge. Uh, we talked about Jethro Tull, elements of hard rock, elements of folk, elements of jazz, blues, you name it, classical. It's very hard to pigeonhole them into one genre of music. Oh, I forgot to say prog rock. I mean, thick as a brick. Doesn't get any better than that. One of the greatest prog rock albums in the history of the world. Gotta love Mr. Ian Anderson and Martin Bear, and list goes on and on. Bassists Glenn Cornick and who else? Uh, oh shit, I freaking forgot his name. But drummers Clyde Bunker, Barrymore Barlow, keyboardist John Evan, and that's the story. So those are my 3 nights of the All or Nada According to Jack Festival. Uh, one thing I thought of before I started to do this, what I'm probably going to do, since I love putting, how would you say, or the playlists together. I think I'm going to put a playlist together of this festival, with all these bands. So stay tuned for that. Uh, if you want to know how to put something like this together, go to the www.instafest.app and enter in your Spotify username and password, and voila, there you have it. So, fun project for this evening. Uh, I was definitely not surprised who my headliners were. I was more interested in who my undercard would be, and definitely, you know what? I got to give them credit. They nailed it. Those are all my favorite bands. So this has been Jack Toledano with All or None According to Jack Fest. If you like what I do, please subscribe. We are counting down the days to my first anniversary. So I would love to get to 500 subscribers. I am literally 5 subscribers off, so please help me out. If you're already a subscriber, please get one of your friends to subscribe. Check out the content. This is a labor of love for me. I'm probably not as good as Mr. Pardo with doing this, but I love what I do, and I'm passionate. And there, now you have my resume. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you have a wonderful, healthy holiday season. But I will be wishing you happy holidays in the next 15, 20 days or so. So stay tuned for more. Jack Toledano. Have a good night, all.